Today we're using artificial intelligence to make my dreams come true. Your dreams come true, you may ask? Yes, let me explain. I love Pixar and I love Disney. And when I was in school, I used to say that one day I would direct, yes, pretty ambitious, a Pixar film that was inspired in Dominican or Caribbean culture. Yes, I was born in Dominican Republic and I still live on the island. And probably you're wondering, how? How am I gonna do this? Spoiler alert, I cannot make a feature film, but my plan is to make some sort of poster, something like this. And for the first time, today I am working on the same team as DALL-E. I'm using DALL-E as a tool because I've seen a lot of artists on the internet saying we should not be scared of artificial intelligence, instead we should be taking advantage of it. So come with me today to see if we can make my dream a reality using DALL-E. Anyway, I truly don't know how I'm going to do this, but the only request I have from you is to use your imagination. First, we need a story. And for inspiration, these are the things that I want to include in it. One, I want it to take place in a beach town that's really close to the mountains. Sounds contradicting, but in the island, this can happen. And I wanted to be inspired by this song called Ojalá que llueva café by Juan Luis Guerra, which is basically a Dominican anthem that translates to I wish it rained coffee. And it's sort of a metaphor for wishing for prosperity. So we're gonna bring a little bit of that coffee concept into our movie. I would also like to include one of these trucks here that's quintessential Dominican transportation. And I want the main character to be a Dominican kid born in the Heights, which is a Dominican neighborhood in New York City. And this is the first time he comes to the Dominican Republic to meet his parents' hometown. And probably the parents are dead because that's a very Disney thing. And you know that's true. With that said, let's write a logline or synopsis. And disclaimer, I am not the best when it comes to story, even though I took this workshop with Matthew Lunn, which is a storyboard artist at Pixar. Some of that has to remain in here, so let's see how I do. Villa Playa Verde was a beautiful beach town known for its coffee waterfall, the only one in the world. Yes, we're gonna do a waterfall instead of rain because I think it's visually better, but the coffee element is still in there. Let's continue. But when Rafa arrives to meet the legendary town his mother grew up in, instead of a tropical paradise, he encounters a town suffering from extreme drought and poverty. Now, it is up to Rafa to embark on a journey into the mountains and restore the life on the island. I know I gave you too much context that probably we're not gonna need for this little poster we're doing, but you guys need to understand the story to understand some of the artistic decisions that I will be making later on. And I figure we cannot go blindly into this, so I did this little thumbnail here, so we know what we're looking for. And here we have Rafa, our main character, then the waterfall in the back, like an epic waterfall, and then the truck that I mentioned earlier. Also, I think we need a little sidekick, you know, like a little animal. We could do a rooster or a pig, which are very Dominican, but actually Moana stole those from us already. We could do a donkey, but Encanto has the donkeys. We could do a flamingo or an iguana, but those live on the south part of the island, and I imagine the story to happen in the north, and I'm trying to stay very true to Dominican fauna. So we're gonna have to go with a cotorra, which is a green parrot. Here it is. And actually, I think it's perfect. These birds here, they're known to mock human speech. That could be very useful when it comes to story. And before I forget, we need to give this a title, a quintessential Pixar/Disney title, which means it has to be one word, either a noun or an adjective. So I think I'm going to go with island. No, not island. Isla. Yes, isla in Spanish. That sounds kind of hot and it's going to be your working title. So, Isla. And that's the beautiful title. I designed that, not AI. Now let's get into DALL-E, finally. Let's start with our main character, Rafa. And let's type in character design of an 11-year-old Dominican kid wearing shorts, sandals, and a baseball hat. Now it's gonna generate 4 different images. Okay, so this is sort of the vibe, not necessarily the style I'm looking for. I think we're gonna have to start lowering our expectations. But I think the 4th one, it's interesting. So let's see if we can get some variations of this one. Okay, I mean, still not there yet. Honestly, why don't we try another route? Since today the point of this is to take advantage of AI, DALL-E has a feature where you can upload an image and you can ask for variations of that image you uploaded. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit, and yes, I feel a little bit guilty, but again, we're allowed to do that today. I'm gonna upload a photo of Antonio from Encanto, which is pretty similar to what I envisioned Rafa to look like. So let's see what it comes up with. Here are the variations of Antonio, and this is way better. I mean, it's definitely 3D, so I'm gonna go with the third one here. And another great feature that DALL-E has is that you are able to erase a certain part of the photo, and then you're able to fill it in with whatever prompt you type. So I'm going to erase the shirt, and I want a tank top here. Okay, now we have different tank tops. The third one looks really bulky, so that's not gonna work. And I'm just gonna go with the first one. Let's keep editing this a little bit to see where we can get it. All right, let's see if we can give this kid a hat. Let's erase this arm because it's a little bit too weird, and the shoes as well because I want sandals. Generate. Okay, I think this is as good as it's going to get. Again, DALL-E and I are working as a team today, so this is a great base for us to start with. And later on, I'm gonna paint and edit things in Photoshop regardless. So let's take this kid here, drop it into the thumbnail, and keep looking for the other elements. So next, let's do the waterfall. And this is the waterfall that I imagine in my head. This is El Salto del Limón in Samaná. So let's type in beautiful waterfall in a tropical forest, Pixar style. Enter. Nice illustrations. They're not as epic as I want them to be, so let's see if we can tweak the prompt. Let's add the word tall, and let's add the word scenic landscape. These are not as epic as I want them to be, and you know what? I'm just gonna keep taking advantage of the program. So I'm gonna take this photo, run it through DALL-E, and request for variations. Here they are. They are very, very similar, but they do have a painterly style, which is not bad because we could use that as a matte painting. Now let's take advantage of the other great feature that DALL-E has, which is the outpainting feature, which basically allows you to expand whatever image you have, and it will keep expanding it in the same style. Let's do that because I need more height and I need more width. So let's start outpainting our waterfall. I wanted to make it taller, I need more height, and also I need like more width so I can play with it in post. Let's add a few palm trees. Okay, so I think this background will work for now. Let's drop it into our little thumbnail template. And I know you're probably wondering, Marcel, where the hell is the coffee, since this whole story revolves around coffee? My idea is to color correct the water at the end and make it brown, and hopefully it will not look like muddy or dirty water. It will look nice and shiny and beautiful and something you would like to drink, fingers crossed. But yes, I'm gonna be doing that in Photoshop later because I don't want to confuse the algorithm by asking it for a coffee waterfall. Next, now let's do the truck. And for that one, let's try to generate it from scratch. So let's type in old and rusted red truck CG Pixar style. Oh wow, this one turned out pretty well. I like this one here. Let's get some variations. Nice. I mean, any of these could work, so I'm gonna go with the first one. I think that's the one I like the best. And the only thing is we need to expand it. So let's use outpainting again, so we get a full truck. And now that we have our full truck, we can just drop it into our template. And finally, we just need to do the bird. So let's give DALL-E creative freedom again. Green parrot character design in CG Pixar style. And I mean, this is not bad. This has potential. The only problem that I see is that the bird is standing while I want it to be flying for composition purposes. So I'm going to add the word flying into the prompt and run it again. Okay, and I still think we can work with this. I like the fourth one. It's very cute, and I think we can always use a very cute sidekick. Let's get some variations of this one to see what else we can get. So I think this is great. I'm going to use the edit feature again to change the eyes, the beak, and I want to make his tummy red. And once that's done, we can drop it into the template. Now that we have all of our elements in the template, I pulled out my tablet. You know, I had to bring out the big guns. So I'm gonna do a little montage now while I do this whole painting thing. I'm gonna do my best to explain my thought process while I do that, and I'll see you after.
So first, let's start with Rafa. I'm going to fix the face and make his features more unique and interesting. Remember, our main character needs to feel special, and I am a big fan of tooth gaps and freckles. I will fix his proportions and anatomy, and also make his pose more dynamic so he interacts better with the scene. Since I am very happy with the chalk, I just want to stylize it a little bit, play with its proportions, and I almost forgot, but we need to add another character later. Now let's jump to the background. I want to start by cleaning up the sky, adding some negative space. This way the waterfall will stand out more and we will make it taller as well. I'm gonna push everything back in space by adding some atmosphere, and now it's finally coffee time. Let's make the water brown and make sure it doesn't look muddy, because like I said earlier, you need to want to drink this water. It's coffee. So let's add some reflections, some mist, and now some definition to the streams. Now let's clean up our cotorra. Let's give it a little bit of a personality by making its eyes more expressive, and let's add some uniqueness with some cute hair or, well, feathers. And the rest is just going to be compositing, which means color correcting, fixing highlights and shadows, and tweaking things to make sure all the elements feel cohesive and like they belong together in the same scene.
Okay, we're almost ready, but before I show you the final, I want to take this background that's almost ready and I want to bring it back into DALL-E. I'm gonna erase the bottom part and I'm going to generate water on the bottom front, because I imagine this to be a very shallow part of the river where you can cross walking, because I want Rafa to have his feet in the water and the truck to be in the water. Also, we need to generate the other character, which is Cousin Giovanni, and for this I'm gonna cheat again. I'm gonna use our little trick, take a photo of Miguel's dad from Coco and then run it through DALL-E. This is what DALL-E gave us and this is my paint over, and I had the great idea of making the top of the waterfall in the shape of a coffee maker, a Dominican coffee maker. It looks like this. Now that we have all of those details in there, remember that beautiful, beautiful logo that I showed you at the beginning? Now it's time to add it in. So let's bring this logo in. And now, are you guys ready to see my own Pixar movie? And here you have Isla, my own Pixar movie. So, I think it came out really, really good. Obviously, it's not perfect. It sort of looks like a bootleg version of a Pixar movie, but if you look at the before and then the after, I think it's great. And yeah, I could have spent more time, but overall, here are my thoughts when it comes to pros and cons. Pros: did it make my workflow faster? Yes, I was able to come up with the characters and the background and everything fairly quick, and then I just had to paint over and tweak things here and there. And also, they're copyright free, I believe. We literally copied things from Pixar itself, and I think this is copyright free. And for the cons, I'm not gonna lie to you, I do feel a little bit guilty. I think I cheated a lot. But yeah, even though it gave me a lot of options and variations, I would have liked things to be more stylized. I would have liked to have more control when it came to the posing of the characters. In case you were wondering, why didn't I type the whole prompt together at the beginning? Well, it's because this is what I would have gotten. By doing it this way, you know, taking the elements separate, I think I had more control. But yeah, I think it's definitely a good tool. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Even though it was like a lot of work, I did have a good time making it. Pixar, if you're watching, hit me up. It doesn't need to be a movie. We can start with an internship. And for the rest of you, if you want to watch more videos of me using AI, here are a few of them, and I will see you in the next one.